It's strange, really. One moment, I was me, just another face in a crowd, a man clawing through the remains of a broken life, and the next, I was staring at a reflection that wasn't mine. Her eyes, her lips, her face. And yet, it was me. When I first woke up in that sterile white room, everything felt wrong. The air smelled of disinfectant and faint lavender. My throat burned, my limbs felt heavy, and a steady beep echoed in my ears. A hospital. I tried to move, but tubes tugged at my skin. A nurse rushed over. "Don't strain yourself, miss, you're still recovering." "Miss?" I tried to speak, but my voice came out soft, high-pitched, not mine. My heart slammed in my chest as panic surged through me. I reached for my face, fingers trembling. My skin felt smooth, too smooth. No stubble, no roughness, just soft warmth. What's happening to me? She gave me a look, pity and fear mixed together. Dr. Han will explain everything. Just, please, stay calm. But I couldn't. When I caught sight of myself in the reflection of a nearby metal tray, my world shattered. Big, doe-like eyes stared back at me, framed by long lashes. A small, delicate nose. Glossy lips, slightly parted. My old scars were gone. My jawline, my cheekbones, all replaced by someone else's. A stranger. Or rather, her. Because I recognized that face instantly. Everyone in the country would. Eva Lynn, the actress, the icon, the woman whose tragic death had made global headlines 2 months ago. And somehow, I was looking at her face in the mirror. Dr. Han arrived an hour later, tall, cold, his eyes sharp behind his glasses. "You're awake," he said flatly. "That's unexpected." I wanted answers, but my mind was spinning. "What did you do to me? Why do I look like her?" He sighed. "You were part of an experimental neural reconstruction program. A car crash left your body destroyed beyond repair. We used advanced biomimetic grafting. You were chosen because your physiology matched a donor model." Eva Lynn's data, her facial architecture, her tissue mapping, was part of a prototype project she herself funded before she died. I stared at him, frozen. "So, I'm wearing her face." "In a sense," he said. "You're alive. That's what matters." Alive? I felt like a ghost haunting someone else's reflection. When I was discharged weeks later, my old life had vanished. My apartment was gone, sold to pay medical bills. My company had replaced me. My friends, none of them recognized me. I stood outside my best friend Daniel's cafe one rainy morning, trembling under an umbrella. I knocked softly, hoping, praying, he'd somehow know it was me. He opened the door, eyes widening. "Eva Lynn? I thought you were dead." I tried to speak, but the moment he looked into my eyes, I saw only confusion. He didn't see me. He saw her. "Wait, no, Daniel, it's me." He backed away slowly. "I don't know who you are, lady, but you've got some nerve pretending to be her." The door slammed. That sound, sharp and final, echoed in my chest like a gunshot. That's when I realized I had lost everything. My identity, my past, my face. I wasn't me anymore. I was her. At first, I hid. For weeks, I couldn't even look at mirrors. I wore oversized hoodies and masks, afraid of my own reflection. The media thought Eva Lynn's body had been cremated. No one knew her likeness had been given new life. In me. But late at night, curiosity crept in. I'd stare at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, fingertips tracing the smooth lines of my face. The symmetry was unnerving, perfect. My lips curved naturally upward when I smiled, like hers did. My hair, long, silky, chestnut brown, shimmered under the light. One night, I whispered, "Who are you?" The reflection didn't answer, but I swore her eyes looked sad. Then came the voice. I started practicing, trying to speak like myself again. But every sound that came out was soft, melodic, feminine. No, I'd tell myself, "That's not you." But curiosity grew stronger than fear. I began exploring what it meant to live with this face, in secret. I watched Eva's old interviews, copied her expressions, her posture. When she tilted her head slightly while smiling, her fans would melt. When she blinked slowly during pauses, her charm felt effortless. And now, I could do it too. It terrified me. And yet, somewhere deep inside, it thrilled me. I tried on clothes she once wore in photos. Elegant dresses, silk blouses, delicate jewelry. They fit perfectly, as if the universe had tailored them for me. The first time I applied lipstick, my hands shook. A single stroke of crimson turned my reflection into something breathtaking. I whispered, "Eva." And for the first time, the reflection smiled back. The first time I stepped outside as her, my heart pounded so loudly I thought everyone could hear it. It was just supposed to be a quick trip, grocery store, cap and sunglasses on. But the moment I caught my reflection in a passing window, I froze. Even in disguise, even hiding under layers, people stared. "Excuse me," a stranger said softly. You look just like Eva Lynn." I stammered. "I get that a lot." She smiled. "You could be her twin. It's beautiful." Her words made me blush. Beautiful. When was the last time anyone had said that to me? Each outing got easier. My movements became lighter, more graceful. The way people treated me, softer, gentler, felt surreal. But the real turning point came one weekend when I visited the seaside. There, surrounded by strangers, I allowed myself to exist freely for the first time. No one knew my past, my name, or my pain. They only saw the woman standing before them, confident, mysterious, radiant. A man at a small cafe struck up a conversation. "You remind me of someone," he said with a half smile. I laughed nervously. "I get that a lot." "You have her warmth," he said. "Eva Lynn. She used to come here sometimes. Said this place made her feel normal." My heart clenched. "Did she seem happy?" He nodded. "She was lonely." Said fame made her forget who she was. That night, sitting by the shore, I cried. For her. For me. For the two lives that somehow merged into one. Maybe this wasn't punishment. Maybe it was a chance to give her story the peace it never got. Everything changed the night I was recognized. I was volunteering at a charity gala, dressed modestly, just helping out, when a man across the room froze. His face drained of color. He was a journalist, one of those who had covered Eva's death. He whispered to his companion, pointing subtly at me. My chest tightened. Within minutes, cameras flashed. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "That's Eva Lynn." "No, she died." "Then who is she?" Panic surged. I ran, heels clacking against marble floors, heart racing. I burst into a restroom, locking the door behind me. Staring into the mirror, I saw tears streak down the perfect face everyone adored, the face that wasn't mine. Then, a voice behind me, soft, trembling. "It's you." I turned. It was Dr. Han. "You weren't supposed to be seen," he said coldly. "You're property of the Institute. You can't just live freely." "I'm not property," I shouted. "I didn't ask for this." He stepped closer. "You think you understand what's been done to you? That face, that body, it's not yours. It's technology. You're a vessel." I trembled. "Maybe. But I'm alive. I feel. I love. That makes me human." He sighed, almost pitying. "Then prove it. Tell the world who you really are." I knew what he meant. Exposure would ruin everything. But something inside me had shifted. Maybe I wasn't born for this face, but I could give it meaning. The next day, I made a choice. I went live. Sitting in front of a camera, I spoke, trembling but determined. "My name doesn't matter anymore. I was in an accident. I woke up like this. The woman you see, Eva Lynn, gave me a second chance at life, even if she never meant to. I don't know if I deserve it. But I'll spend the rest of my life honoring her, not by pretending to be her, but by living truthfully as the person I've become." Millions watched. Some called it fake. Others called it a miracle. But for the first time, I felt real. Months passed. The storm of media attention eventually quieted. Some called me the reborn Eva. Others simply called me E. I began working with organizations Eva once supported, women's shelters, mental health causes. The people who met me didn't care whose face I wore. They cared about my heart, my actions. I started smiling again, not the practiced smile of a celebrity, but one born from peace. One evening, I visited her grave. A quiet hill overlooking the city lights. I placed a single lily on her nameplate. "Thank you," I whispered. "For this life. For this second chance. I hope, wherever you are, you know I'll make it mean something. A breeze brushed my hair, soft and warm. For a moment, I swore I heard a voice, gentle, familiar. Live for both of us.
And I did.
Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a stranger anymore.
I see someone reborn.
If losing everything taught me one thing, it's this: identity isn't just about the face you wear. It's about the choices you make, the people you love, and the truth you live. I may have lost my past, but I gained something greater: empathy, strength, and the courage to define myself. So, if you ever feel like life has stripped you of who you were, remember, sometimes, that's the universe's way of letting you become who you're meant to be. 6 months since I bared my soul to millions, hoping they'd see the person behind the face.
Some did. Some didn't. And some never would.
But I've learned that acceptance isn't something you wait for, it's something you build, one heartbeat at a time.
I thought my confession would set me free.
Instead, it made me famous again, only this time, for all the wrong reasons. Everywhere I went, cameras followed.
People whispered.
Online, headlines screamed. The reborn EVA, miracle law madness. Who is E, really? Did the actress fake her death? I became a symbol, a living ghost, a curiosity, a freak show. One night, I stood on my balcony overlooking the glittering city lights. Below me, billboards still bore her smile. But on my phone, I watched a new video trending, mine. Someone had edited my speech with Eva's old interviews, merging our voices, our faces. It was eerie, seamless, as if she'd never died. As if I'd never existed. I dropped the phone and whispered to the night. How do I live when the world still sees her?
I started working with a small charity group full-time.
It gave me purpose, handing out food, visiting shelters, speaking at community events.
People there didn't call me Eva. They called me E.
At first, it felt like breathing again.
But even kindness came with shadows.
A young girl, maybe 12, approached me after one of my talks.
Her eyes sparkled.
You're Eva Lynn, right?
My mom used to love your movies.
I hesitated.
No, sweetheart.
I'm someone else now.
She smiled innocently. It's okay. You don't have to hide.
You're even prettier in person. Her words stung, not because they were cruel, but because they were honest.
I wanted to tell her the truth, but she'd already decided who I was.
To the world, I was a walking illusion.
Even at home, reminders lingered. The mirror. The voice.
The way I unconsciously tilted my head when thinking, just like she used to. Sometimes, I'd wake up and forget who I was supposed to be. My reflection would whisper back in that familiar tone. You're doing fine.
Keep pretending. I began journaling.
Every night, I'd write to her. Eva, today they called me you again.
I smiled, but it hurt.
Sometimes I think we're both trapped, you in memory, me in your shadow. If I could give this face back, would I?
But deep down, I knew the answer.
I wouldn't.
Not anymore. Because slowly, I was learning to love who I'd become. There were small, intimate moments that changed me. The way the wind played with my hair when I walked through the park. The soft click of my heels against marble.
The quiet confidence in strangers' eyes when I spoke. Each detail reminded me that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't theft.
Maybe it was rebirth.
One night, I found Eva's old piano in storage, the one from her apartment before she passed. It was dusty, out of tune, but when I touched the keys, something inside me trembled. A memory not mine flashed, laughter, music, applause.
Tears filled my eyes.
Eva, are you still here? The melody that followed wasn't one of hers.
It was mine.
For the first time, I played not to imitate her, but to express me.
And that's when he walked in.
His name was Aidan, a documentary filmmaker.
He'd been assigned to film a short profile on the charity I worked for.
At first, he was quiet, professional, polite. But his eyes lingered too long sometimes, as if he saw through the layers of skin and history. One afternoon, while I was helping set up donation boxes, he asked gently, "Do you ever get tired of pretending?"
I froze.
Pretending what?
He smiled faintly.
That you're okay.
I didn't answer. He continued filming, but something shifted that day.
In the following weeks, we talked often about life, loss, and what it means to start over.
He never asked about Eva directly. He treated me like me.
And I found myself laughing again,
genuinely. But part of me was terrified. Because falling for someone meant vulnerability.
And vulnerability meant risk.
What if he only saw her face when he looked at me?
One evening, after a long day of filming, we sat by the pier watching the sunset.
He turned to me.
You know, you don't have to prove anything.
You don't owe the world explanations. You're allowed to live.
I whispered, then why do I still feel like I'm stealing her life? He looked at me, not the face, but the person beneath it. Because you haven't forgiven yourself for surviving.
Something in me broke open. I cried, quietly, uncontrollably.
And for the first time in a long while, someone held me not as Eva Lynn, not as a miracle, but simply as E. The documentary premiered 3 months later.
It was supposed to be about the charity.
But Aiden had included one final scene, me, sitting at the piano, playing the melody I'd written that night.
No narration. No explanation. Just raw emotion. The film exploded online.
Millions watched.
The comments poured in.
She's not pretending to be Eva. She's something new. I don't know who she is, but she's real.
But not everyone was supportive.
A group claiming to be fans of the real Eva Lynn launched a smear campaign. They accused me of desecrating her memory, of mocking her death.
They even leaked my hospital files. It all came crashing down again. Journalists swarmed the charity office.
Cameras shoved in my face. E, do you regret taking her identity? I wanted to scream. I didn't take it.
But my voice trembled.
I just wanted to live.
That night, I locked myself in my apartment. Online hate burned like wildfire. Fake. Freak.
Frankenstein's daughter. I stared at the mirror, at the face that had both saved and cursed me. Why did it have to be you?
I whispered.
Why couldn't I have just died?
Then, through my tears, I noticed something.
My reflection smiled.
Not the old smile.
Not Eva's.
Mine.
In that moment, I realized something Eva had never been given, the freedom to stop pretending.
The next day, I went live again. No makeup. No filters. Just me.
My name is E, I said softly. I'm not Eva Lynn, and I never will be. She was an incredible woman, but she's gone.
I'm not her ghost.
I'm her legacy.
I paused, breathing deeply. When I woke up with this face, I thought it was a curse.
But now, I see it's a reminder that life doesn't end where we expect.
Sometimes, it begins again in ways we can't control.
And that's okay. The comments were quiet at first. Then one appeared. Thank you for reminding me it's okay to start over.
Then another. And another.
I smiled through tears. For the first time, the world saw me. A year later, I stood on stage at a fundraiser. Lights glowed softly, the crowd hushed. I shared my story, not of transformation, but of rebirth. Sometimes, I told them, we lose everything we thought made us who we are, our job, our family, our face.
But what's left isn't emptiness.
It's possibility.
Afterward, Aiden found me backstage. He handed me a small box.
Inside was a silver pendant engraved with one word, reborn.
I smiled.
You think I deserve that?
He took my hand.
You earned it. I looked at my reflection in the mirror one last time that night, the same face that once terrified me.
But now, it was home. Because I no longer lived as her. I lived as me.
And maybe, that was the most beautiful transformation of all.